We just started negotiations with Japan. This is a very big deal, very good news. This just came out moments ago. Following a very constructive phone discussion with the government of Japan, Donald Trump has asked me, Scott Bessent writes, and the U.S. trade rep to open negotiations to implement the president's vision for the new golden age of global trade with Japan. This is great. Okay, guys, this is a really good sign, and this is why the markets are leveling out, because what this shows is that the administration gets it. In other words, we want our friends to succeed, and we want our enemies to fail, okay? And we do not want to help prop up the economies of our enemies, but we do want to help those that are friends with us. So this is a big deal. You know who else is a friend of ours? That would be one Israel. And guess what? Netanyahu and Donald Trump speaking there at the Oval Office moments ago. I have the fresh sound. Let's take a listen.
First, if I can mention tariffs, it's a subject of some interest today. I can tell you that I said to the president a very simple thing. We will eliminate the trade deficit with the United States. We intend to do it very quickly. We think it's the right thing to do. And we're going to also eliminate trade barriers, a variety of trade barriers that have been put up unnecessarily. And I think Israel can serve as a model for many countries who ought to do the same. I recognize the position of the United States. It says, you know, we're allowing other countries to put tariffs on us, but we don't put tariffs on them. And, you know, I'm a free trade champion, and free trade has to be fair trade. And I think that's basically the position that you have put forward, Mr. President. We are going to eliminate the tariffs, and rapidly. I had the opportunity to speak to Secretary Lutnick yesterday. We talked about how we could effect this quickly, and I hope to bring a solution very quickly. We're not talking...
Very, very quick. I love it. But guess what's happening over in China? You get the market sinking there. Did you see what happened to the Shanghai Composite, Hang Seng over in Hong Kong? In other words, the Chinese markets are sinking because guess what Donald Trump decided to do? He decided to make life even harder for China. You see, they came out over the weekend and they said, we don't really like these tariffs. We think that we'll call your bluff. This is like, you don't want to call Donald Trump's bluff, okay, guys? You just don't want to go there because all bets are off. Like, this is not George Bush. This is not Biden. This is not Barack Obama. This is not Bill Clinton. This is Donald Trump. And so China's like, we're so upset. We're going to come back with a retaliatory tariff of 34%. And so Donald Trump said just a few hours ago, okay, yesterday, China issued retaliatory tariffs at 34% on top of their already record-setting tariffs, non-monetary tariffs, illegal subsidization of their companies, and massive long-term currency manipulation. All of that is true, by the way. All of that is true. And they make it crazy, like all kinds of rules. Like if you're going to do business over there, you have to do all this other stuff. And then, by the way, they steal your IP. So he's like, this is a problem. Along with the currency manipulation. Don't forget the currency manipulation. Despite my warning that any country that retaliates against the U.S. by issuing additional tariffs above and beyond their already existing long-term tariff abuse of our nation will be immediately met with new and substantially higher tariffs over and above those initially set. So therefore, China, you're in trouble. If China does not withdraw its 34% increase above their already long-term trading abuses by tomorrow, April 8th, that would be Tuesday, 2025, then guess what? The United States is going to impose an additional tariff on China of 50%, effective April 9th. So we got like 48 hours to work this out. Well, 24 hours, because on the 9th, the additional 50% is going to take place. Don't forget, they got hit with the 67%. So this stuff is adding up fast. Additionally, all talks with China concerning the requested meetings with us will be terminated. Negotiations with other countries, which have also requested meetings, will begin taking place immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Okay, I want to point out that the EU said we're ready to play ball. We'll talk. We'll negotiate. A lot of countries are coming forward and saying that, which is good. I mean, it doesn't change how I feel about the math. It also doesn't change how I feel in terms of long-term being bullish on this economy. But I'll just tell you, China, you're really screwing yourselves over because I don't know who else is going to buy your stuff. You think Europe's going to buy the way Americans buy all your trinkets? Does anybody else have the capacity other than the United States to buy all your junk? I don't think so. I really don't think so. So who does it hurt more in this case? I mean, again, I like the refinement process that's going on right now. I like hearing that Scott Bessent is working with Japan. These are very positive signs, you guys, and I've been very worried. If you follow my Twitter account, you're living and breathing it with me, because I have been very, very concerned. Still buying, still optimistic, but very concerned that we not take this in the wrong direction, and that we want our allies to financially succeed, because the big kahuna, the big problem, ladies and gentlemen, is China. And the good news here is I think China is basically going to be toast. So that's the positive. And the fact that you've got a market that basically closed, let's see, let me give you the final numbers. I mean, you get a NASDAQ that closed higher. I mean, that's amazing, right? The NASDAQ closed up 0.1%. The S&P down 0.25%, the Dow Jones Industrial Average down 0.9%. But you know what? Earlier in the session, when we first opened up, we were down 4% and change. So that was a remarkable turnaround, and I think they're honing in on what really, really, really matters here. You know, we're focused on what really, really, really matters as well. In this kind of environment, you may be asking yourself, what the heck do I do? Do I buy? I know, Don, you think it's going down further. I talked to a friend yesterday who said he's selling puts on triple Qs right now because he actually thinks it's going to maybe go down a little bit, but he's actually bullish in the next 90 days. Don is an options trader, so he'll appreciate that. But overall, look, I'm not in and out of the market. I buy and I hold. I buy and I just hang on to that stuff, because eventually my feeling is, 10 years from now, it's going to be worth it. And don't you wish you bought more during 2020, during March of 2020? We've got some ideas for you on how you invest amid all this volatility. Please go and check out my research newsletter, 76 Research. We just put out another note today. We're fast and furious, right? We're keeping it coming because we know you need us right now. You can use code word dollar, DOLLAR. You get the first 2 months for free. How to invest amid all this volatility. I know it's not easy, but there are some techniques and there are some strategies, and there are specifically, I should say, some names we really like. If you look at our portfolio, we have all of those names in there for you. I would say this, take a look at the PE on the NASDAQ. This is as of Friday's session, so it's probably somewhat similar to this chart. Do you see how high it was back in 24? And even earlier this year, if you look at February 19th was actually high in the market. I mean, and we have come down remarkably there. So you've got companies like Amazon trading at 15 times earnings, 2-year forward earnings. And look, we haven't seen that in a while because it's been at like 35 times earnings. So I'm not calling a bottom. You can't catch a falling knife, but I'm just saying this is a really, really important time to watch. And the good news is I think China's going to hurt a whole lot more than us, shall we say. I want to get to this Obama drama because, the Obama family, they're having their issues, shall we say, especially when it comes to ratings on that podcast. But in the meantime, Balance in Nature. Balance in Nature, one of our great sponsors here on the Trish Regan Show. Go check them out today, balanceofnature.com. You can get 35% off, plus free shipping, plus a money-back guarantee. I take my fruits and veggies every day. These are my vitamins. I really do. I take the gummies. They taste really good. They're gluten-free, too, for those of you that care. They have all kinds of things, though, and all kinds of testimonials. I mean, thousands of people have written in saying how wonderful Balance in Nature is. So I'm not the only one. Go check it out. When you do, make sure you use my code. Use code Trish at balanceofnature.com. But I'm blown away by everything that we're seeing. I think there are a lot of concerns right now about the future, both in terms of who's in the administration, whether or not they're pulling this one together, whether we're going to see more upside in the markets to come. These are big, big questions, and we're going to be addressing some of them at a big event that I'm actually participating in down in Georgia for anybody that's interested. They still have tickets. I only have 150, though. I don't know how many we've sold, but I imagine they're going to run out pretty quick. So 150 tickets. This is the JCN Freedom Fighter Summit. JCN Freedom Fighters Summit. Just go to 2025 JCN. I have this miswritten. Let me do this again. 2025 JCNsummit.com. And you want to use code Salem because then you get the second ticket for 50% off. It's in beautiful Savannah, Georgia. You can play golf. You can go to, we get like festivities because Rob Schneider, a comedian's going to be there. Lee Greenwald is going to be singing. And we're going to be talking about all of these big issues right now. You're going to have people like myself. You're going to have my friend Mike Gallagher, radio guy, Bill Bennett. You remember him, former Secretary of Education. So it'll be interesting to see what he has to say on all the education stuff. We've got Steve Moore, my dear friend, who I was just on the radio actually this weekend. He and Steve Forbes, but it was on Steve Moore's show. Grover Norquist, Kellyanne Conway, Governors Youngkin, Governor Kemp. There's going to be a great team of people there. So go check that out. You can still get tickets. 2025 jcnsummit.com. Do that now. Get the tickets before they sell out. I really think it's going to be a terrific, terrific event. I'm looking forward to it. I just booked my tickets, my plane tickets anyway. I'm really very much looking forward to it, and I think there's going to be some brilliant conversations.